right, so we're here this afternoon. Today is April 16th. We're at the Oviedo Women's Club interviewing Judith Dolores Smith, one of Oviedo's trailblazers. We're going to have some tea with her or water today. So we're very happy that you could come join us today. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'm going to just jump right in and ask you to tell me about how and when your family came to Florida, because I know that they came at a certain time and it was a very maybe dark time that we're glad we're past that now.
Yeah.
But tell us about that if you would.
Well, I'd like to think maybe it wasn't so dark because they were heading out to start a new life.
Mm-hmm.
And I just had a chance to look at the document, the patent, land patent,
Mm-hmm.
that my grandfather got from the federal government, because all of this land was owned by the federal government.
Mm-hmm.
So on the patent, and it was date stamped on 1914.
Wow.
So he had to apply to the federal government for this patent. And I don't know where he got the idea, but there were like 5 different families,
Mm-hmm.
black families, that came to the area about that same time.
Mm-hmm.
And again, they came from Georgia. So
Okay.
I'm thinking maybe, they put out the word up there and said, oh, you can come and have land in Florida. Well, he was given a patent for 80 acres.
Wow.
And it's in the area of where Alafaya Woods is.
Mm-hmm.
And so he had to let them know what he was growing, the structures he put on the land, and so on and so forth. So I have this
Very cool.
this document, which is really neat.
Mm-hmm.
And so, as far as I know, though, he came to the area, meaning the area outside of Oviedo, because it was still Mosquito County, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
And they were living in Geneva, because my aunt and my uncle were born in Geneva, and that was like 1908 and 1909.
Okay.
So they were in Geneva somewhere, and I guess that was the community they were in, because my mother and father were married in Geneva in like 1941. There was a church there, so they were doing a lot of things over there. I think also because that's where the transportation was to come in, because I'm thinking, well, how did they get down here and everything? But probably by steamship or steamboat. I'm thinking, well, there are no roads, and I'm certain they're probably not going to drive in a wagon down here. So that was the beginning of my maternal grandfather coming to the area, settling in the area, homesteading, but again, it was called a land patent.
And what was his name again?
His name is Connell Butner Holmes,
Okay.
but they call him Cap. Interesting why they call it Cap. I don't know if it was short for captain or whatever. But he was the oldest of 16 children that came from Woodbine, Georgia. And so that was it. When they came, that was it. They settled here. And some of his other relatives, my mom's, on her mother's side, they came to the area also. And some of them settled in Chuliota. Like my mom's sister lived in Chuliota for maybe 30 years, because there was a turpentine place there. And so they lived there. So that was the genesis of the family through my maternal grandfather, but also my paternal people. My father's uncle came to the area around he may have been here around that time too. His name was George Worship Jones.
Okay.
So he may have come in the area also about that time. But my dad and his mom came down. They brought their mother down because the brother was here around 1920. So that was it.
Very cool. A land patent. That's really cool. So
Yes.
what was he planning to grow, or what was his plan?
Just the normal things that they did. He had citrus. He had other fruit trees and vegetables.
Nice.
Just whatever you name it that he could grow.
Right.
And he had, I think, one structure,
Okay.
which was the house. But again, they had to put in writing what they were doing. Very interesting. Again, I didn't know that existed until a local lady, I've forgotten her name, she did research on these 4 families that had come to the area. One being one in Jamestown, Mr. Henry Jackson came about that time, and a couple of other names I wasn't aware of came about that same time, and settled the land. Very interesting.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
again, just within the last 2 or 3 years, I got this document. Didn't know it existed, although my mom had told me that my grandfather had homesteaded about 80 acres around Alafaya Woods. So she was very secretive. And then she said, well, he lost it. He had to mortgage it to get a family member out of trouble. And so that's why we don't have that land today.
Right. Well, speaking of your mom, so that was that generation. Go to your mom's generation. How many brothers, sisters? What was that makeup?
My mom was the baby of 4. And my aunt, who was born, I think my aunt Lydia Mae was born like 1890. And then for like 10 years, 1890, and then until 1908, they didn't have any more children. And then they had my uncle who was born in 1908, and my aunt who was born in 1909 in Geneva. And again, I didn't know a lot about it. People were secretive. I guess they were just trying to live their life. But my mom attended the one-room schoolhouse in Oviedo. And then because it only went to a certain grade level, and I don't know, I forgot what that was, she attended the FAMU, Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University, to get her high school diploma in Tallahassee. So, and then she came back here, and you could teach with a high school diploma. She came and started teaching. And then, as the years went by, she started studying for her baccalaureate, and she received that from the Bethune-Cookman University in Daytona. So again, I wasn't aware also that my grandfather sent my uncle to college. Didn't know, and my mom said, you gotta hear it from him, but he was long dead.
Right.
He went to the Hampton Institute in Virginia. And yes, and we had other family members who attended. I have a cousin who attended Hampton in Virginia. It was a historically black university. And then also my brother graduated from Hampton Institute, which I didn't know. And it would be interesting to know why they chose Hampton. I know because it was one of the more famous historically black university, but my uncle going there. And then a really cute story, I said, Mom, why did he not finish?
Right.
Women trouble. He heard that his girlfriend was had done whatever, left him or whatever, so he hitchhiked back. I'm saying, wait a minute. His father spent all this money to send him, and a woman made him come back, so he never finished his baccalaureate. So anyway, that was just a funny story, but my mom did, so she started the process.
Yes, and from what I read, her name came up, was it Sanford she taught mainly in, or did she come down here?
She taught in Oak. Matter of fact, in the research I did, she was one of the only teachers at the school at the time. There was another teacher here in Oviedo. And I think it may have been like 1930 when she started teaching, although it may have been, she may have been doing some other teaching around, because she taught at the Rosenwald School, which was in Altamont. And but again, from about 1930 until the desegregation to 1967, she taught at the Oviedo campus of the colored school. And then she ended up, after desegregation, she taught at the Altamont school, which was no longer located there, but it was right on 436, just before I-4. The school was located there, and she and another teacher from here taught at that school.
That may be what I'm remembering. Yeah. Now she's memorialized on that beautiful mural, isn't she?
How nice, yes, of the young man to do that. Yes, to represent all of the teachers who were here. Although we had some men teachers in there. There are a lot more women teachers. But again, it was just really, how can I say it? It was
historically more a feminine role than a masculine, but it's not so much anymore.
No, but again, just having the privilege to be involved in that process, being involved with her and seeing what she went through to get her degree, which meant going out of the area a lot of time, but they did it. And you would think, well, how did they do it on limited income? And her dad's a farmer.
And the roads, like you said, was she in a wagon?
Yes, but she did that. And I remember when I graduated from college, and my, no, I didn't graduate. It was my sister-in-law, because I attended college with the same institution that my sister-in-law did. She wasn't my sister-in-law at the time, but I drove home with her, and they brought me home. And one of her teachers, Miss Benson, was with us. And so when my mom came out to greet us, she was so excited. She said, Sally Benson. They had gone to school together at FAMU. And so, again, it was a small world as far as the Black community, because you went wherever you needed to get whatever.
To get it done.
And so you're meeting a lot of different people, and your sphere of influence is bigger than just this little community, because they did make contact with other people, and as evidenced by, because Miss Benson, they were from Claremont. So again, we knew a lot of people around the area from all over, Yeah.
All right. So let's transition to your generation now. So brothers, sisters, family, are you all still in the area, or have you spread out?
Well, I'm the baby, and so when, again, all of them went off to college, and so my brother went to Hampton, but he came back and he was in social work in the area. And then my sister, interesting story with her, there was a high school in Eatonville, which was called Hungerford High School, and a lot of people of that generation got their high school diploma from there. My cousin, who was born in 1916, got her high school diploma. So you didn't have to be a resident of Orange County to do that. And it was a prestigious high school. So my mom, instead of going to Crooms, my mom allowed my sister to go to Hungerford. Well, that was a process, because you had to get there. The first year, it was some people who worked there in the area. They dropped them off. The second year, there was another young lady. Her father was the principal of Midway. He bought her a car, and so they drove that year. Wow. The third and fourth year, she lived with one of the teachers there, and she graduated from that school. But this is interesting. So when it comes time to go to college, she didn't go to a historically Black college because her guidance counselor, either one of the teachers, had attended Indiana State University, which is in Terre Haute, Indiana. And that's why she ended up going to Indiana State University. I think it's state, because Indiana University is involved.
It's University of Indiana or Indiana State University?
Indiana State University in Terre Haute. And so, interesting. So she didn't come back home. She ended up working for an insurance company, because she was a computer programmer, went to Chicago. And then my other brother, he attended, again, a historically Black university in North Carolina at A&T University. He's majored in mechanical engineering, but at that time, engineers weren't in such demand. And so he stayed up in North Carolina until eventually he came back to the area. And so but both my brothers died. One died in 2008, one about 2010. My sister is back in the area. She followed her son, who lived in Miami. He worked for the IRS, and he was a tax accountant. So she was down there with him. But now very interesting, young people, he decided to retire where? In Thailand.
Wow.
But that's not so unusual. I'm hearing about more and more people, younger people, retiring outside of the United States because they said it's so expensive. And so that's where he is. But so and I'm wondering why he brought her back and said, okay, she's all right. But she's back here and she's happy. Good. She's so happy to be back in the area. Good. But I mean, that could be another story all in itself. Absolutely. I'm saying, what are you guys doing, you young people? Right. But it's interesting, again, that it's not so uncommon. Right. And then you say, okay, what's going on here? So anyway. It is expensive. Yes, it's expensive.
And then there's you, the baby.
I'm here, and I lived in, I got married like at a really early, when I was 21. As soon as I graduated, I got married. And so my husband was in Fort Lauderdale. So I lived down there for 10 years with him, and then my father died. And then we came back up here to be with my mom. And then I mostly worked in social work on mental health, community mental health. That was the last position I had in Delray Beach, which I worked at a community mental health center. And then when I came back, we just got whatever work we could. We had a couple of businesses, like a cleaning business, and my husband, he's always been in computers, so, you know, wherever normally banks he worked at.
Yeah.
But again, had a couple of businesses.
Nice. And you went to Oviedo High School? Nice.
That's after desegregation.
Right.
We went to the Lawton campus for 8th grade. And then by that time, they had built a new high school. And that was interesting because that was a state-of-the-art school. It was had a commons, and the doors, the classrooms didn't have doors. I'm saying, okay, I don't know about state-of-the-art. But I'm saying, okay, but state-of-the-art in that sense, and there that everything revolved around the commons. That if you didn't have classes, you were in the commons because it was used as the auditorium, because there was a stage and then the seating down below.
Nice.
Real interesting.
Yeah.
I guess, well, anyway. But that was interesting in and of itself, making that transition.
Right.
I thought that was really neat. Now, some people had a harder time than others. But again, if we were always taught that the goal was education.
Absolutely.
You want to get educated in order to do better than your parents did. That was the mantra that I received. And if you stay with that mantra, you didn't have a hard time.
Right.
But I guess, again, everybody is, not fortunate maybe.
Right. Not
to have
everyone
that.
has that instilled in
Yes,
them. Yeah.
yes.
So what made you decide, or how did you get into politics and serve on the city council? Did someone say, you can't do that? And you said, watch me, or what happened?
Well, you better believe that happened. But what had happened, my sister was president of the Oviedo Citizens in Action, and I was the secretary. So we would always go to council meetings and then report back to Citizens in Action. So that's how it started in terms of we were at the council meeting determining, well, how is this government working? And we were really involved. We had, like when they did have the elections, we had meet the candidates and things like that. We would do things like that. So it was 2009, I think. I said to myself, I can run for office. And then I found out, no, it's not, no.
Takes a lot of this.
Yeah, the one lady ran, and her motto was on a shoestring. And she would say to me, Judith, you can run. I'm not paying a lot of money for this. I'm running on a shoestring. You can run. And I'm sorry, I don't remember her name. So I said, okay. But when I did make the decision, I thought in United States of America, that if you want to participate in the government, that you just say, well, here I am, vote for me. Well, when I did put my name in, I got a lot of phone calls and saying, well, why are you running? So on and so forth. I'm saying because I didn't know there was a system in place. Right. And so I was naive. And maybe it's good that I was naive, because I said, this is the government, I want to participate, I want to serve, I think I could be good. Right. But not so. I won't go into all the details of what the system is, but and the system is still there.
And maybe if you had known, you might not have had the courage to say, I'm running.
I wouldn't have done it.
Right.
I really, but also, I still got pressure not to do it. But I'm saying, I don't understand that. Right. I don't understand that. So there's another part of government that governs the ones, yes, who can run. Is that it? Okay. So that was probably the boldest thing I did, and not letting the pressure get to me. I'm saying, well, I'm a citizen of the United States of America. I can run. Yeah. And so the next thing that happened, I believe there was an open seat. I'm trying to think if that was the next time I ran. I think it was, because there was an open seat and there were 7 positions, because I think that was the time that Mayor Andrews.
Because there's
and to
5
get out.
currently, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
There was an open seat, and again, what I found out, you want to run when there's an open seat, because ordinarily, the incumbent is hard to beat.
Right.
Because the incumbent has more contact, more
Right.
money and all that. Back then it was, I mean, very simple. It didn't cost an arm and leg to run. So again, that was good. Open seat,
Right.
okay, no pressure, anybody could run.
Mhm.
But anyway, that's another story, because I did get a call from someone saying, we can't support you. We just want to let you know we can't support you because
We've already pledged our support to somebody else or something like that.
well, it
So
was
many stories.
interesting.
Yes.
So I'm finding out, I'm saying, this is interesting.
You could write a book.
Yes. And so anyway, the next time I ran, I just ran, yes, and I lost by 300 votes.
That's it?
And then I got a call from someone saying, you got to run again because you only lost by 300 votes.
Right.
And it was an open seat. The incumbent, Mr. Hankin, did not run again. So it was an open seat.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was.
Nice.
And then I'm rushing ahead because, again, politics is very
It's a
interesting.
process.
Yeah, it's a process, all right.
Yes.
And so it's gotten even more, for Oviedo, I think it's gotten more of a process because we're not that little village anymore.
Right.
We are, and then it's kind of sad because you look at the whole process, not just in Oviedo, the whole political process, and you think that we're there to serve the community. And that means not having, yes, you may be a part of a political party, but we're nonpartisan in Oviedo.
Correct.
You would think that would be enough, because I'm here to serve
The constituents,
Yes.
yes, the community.
I'm here to serve, and I took it very seriously. I took it very seriously that I was at my oath of office to protect and defend the citizens against enemies, foreign and domestic. I took that very seriously. I said, that's what my job is. My job is not a political job. The citizens didn't hire me or vote for me to be a political candidate. They hired me to protect them from what I saw domestically and nationally. And I think I did that. And maybe at some point I can talk about it, but I think I went above and beyond. And the citizens may not realize that, but I did, because there was a lot of stuff going on at that time. That the positions I took, I believe, made it possible for me to be defeated as an incumbent.
Right. Because of what you did.
What
to
I
help.
did.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. What was if you had to pick one thing from the time when you were elected, what was the biggest accomplishment, the thing you're most proud of that you helped start or finish or?
Again, the biggest accomplishment is that I defended the citizens against a domestic enemy. And while I was doing that and trying to do my best to do that with a lot of pressure, to take the stance that I did, that I didn't waver. And one of the things that I was trying to do also, again, was to make the citizens aware that they needed more income, more revenue, more sources of revenue.
The city needed that, yes.
Yes. And so one of the things that we were talking about was because the military, there are military entities that are real close here, but they're in near UCF, that they were a lot of money going to them for different kinds of military
Like contracts and
yes,
things like that.
yes. And I said, well, how can we partner with these entities to maybe get some of that within the city limits.
Right.
And so I had asked for the council for the ability to do that, to reach out to these entities and try and do that, and they gave me permission to do that. And so I was doing that also. And one other thing also that I was bringing attention to was the fact that, yes, we are becoming, we're not just a little village anymore. We're being affected by things that we just didn't think about in the past, and those things are like human trafficking. So again, to make them aware of that this is what's happening to the small little village that we have, and we need to pay attention. And so those are the things that I was trying to do, and that I think I was succeeding at.
Nice. All right, I'm going to kind of turn a little bit. Your passion project now is the Historic Oviedo Colored Schools Museum. Can you kind of tell us a little bit about how you decided to make that what your next project is, and what the status is at this point?
Well, one of the reasons I decided on that is in 2001, my cousin, along with my best friend, Gloria Godwood and Gracia Miller, and another young lady, Tosi Carwise, wanted to have a reunion because, again, we were very close-knit when we were going to the colored schools. Very close-knit because that was our, the school and the church was our entertainment and sources of learning. We didn't have internet and all that kind of stuff. And so the school provided, of course, education, also entertainment. And it worked with the church to do that. So we were very close-knit. And so they wanted to have a reunion of the students that had attended the colored school. One being on, it was near the Fountainhead Church, right across where the building for Fountainhead is. That's where the colored school was.
Okay.
From I'll say 50, although I may not be wrong on that, 1950 to the time they built the Jackson Heights Elementary Colored School. That's where they were. And also, there were outlying schools, colored schools, one in Wagner, which is Winter Springs, one in Geneva, one in Snow Hill, one in Chuliota, the one in Gabriella, which is Jamestown, and the main one here in Oviedo. So when that time came, I had just come off of a genealogical study, research. My mom had died, and so I'm, just researching this, missed her, and said, there's some things that I don't know. And so I did the little booklet on the colored schools in the Oviedo area, which I didn't realize that there were so many. And so I matter of fact, when I did the booklet, I left out one of the schools, which is Chuliota.
Oh, no.
Well, it appears to be wherever there was a substantial Black community, that there was a school located next to a church.
Makes sense.
And very interesting that was the case. And the wonderful thing about this is that the one in Jamestown, the Gabriella, was located in the St. James AME Church. So they were one building, whereas in other places, they were located next to the church. For instance, in Geneva, the school was located right beside the present Methodist Church in Geneva.
Oh, wow.
Really neat. And so anyway, I was had no interest at all in doing a museum, but I was trying to do more history and extend the book that I had done. And then after a hurricane happened, 2018 thereabout, I'm passing by the St. James AME Church. The hurricane blew a piece of the tent off, hole in the roof, for months on end. And I keep driving by. Nobody fixes the hole. So one day, and I wish I could remember the day, but I can tell you that it actually happened. One day I'm driving by and I said to myself, why doesn't someone fix that hole? I was exasperated. And then it's almost like the hole spoke to me and said, why don't you fix me? You notice that I'm here. Why don't you do it? And I said, well, you know what? that's a good idea. I can at least fix the hole. So when I fixed the hole, my cousin helped me get somebody to fix the hole. I asked the Methodist church, can I fix the hole? Yes. And then I'm saying, well, we can do more than this. We can renovate this building so that it's here in perpetuity, fix it so that it's not always falling apart. We can do that. And so I approached Lowe's, and the manager there said to me, he says, we aren't giving out any kind of things to churches now. We did at one point. I think at that point they were doing veteran projects. And he says, but if you were to maybe put it in a foundation or something like that, maybe we can assist you. So that was the impetus for our foundation, the historic Oviedo Colored School Museum. And matter of fact, we named it the Historic Jamestown Colored School Museum, because we thought, okay, this is just one project. But as we got on, we said, well, no, what we can do is pay homage to all of the colored schools, not to just Jamestown. And that's when we changed our name to the Historic Oviedo Colored Schools Museum, knowing that at one point we'd like to have a place here in the city limits of Oviedo, but we would renovate that building out there in Jamestown, and that began the process. And then we found out in 2021, there were a grant available through the states to renovate schools and churches, historic African-American historic schools and churches. And we applied for the grant. We did not get it on the first try, but what the legislature did, like a week after I left, because I went up to Tallahassee to defend the grant, we hadn't applied for anything, and our score put us like in the middle. We missed it by like $6 million. Got back, got a letter, said, hold on a minute, got news for you. We think we're going to get $30 more million.
Wow.
Legislature gave them $30 more million. We were right in the middle. We were good to go.
Nice.
And so we got that grant for $228,000. We were naive in knowing the process, because I didn't budget for engineer, budget for architect, because I thought, oh, we just go and we'll fix it. No, state grant required me to have an engineer architect. So again, but anyway.
It's a learning process.
Yes. And so we are, what happened was we had to rezone it.
Yes.
Because we were in no man's land as far as the zoning. They said to me, because it had not been used as a church for a certain amount of time, that we had to rezone it.
Right.
So we rezoned it so that we could use it as a church and give it and its historical definition of a church and a school, but to be able to use it as a museum, we had to rezone it. And so we did that. And another thing we ran up against was parking. They required us to have parking. But thank you to the St. Luke's Church. They are going to allow us to use their facilities during the week for parking.
Nice.
Now, it may seem like that's a little far away, but again, you have to start someplace.
That's right.
They said we can use it there, and then say, for instance, we have kids coming in on buses. Buses could drop them off at the site and then go and park at St. Luke's. But we're praying that we get parking closer by so people can walk there. So as of the 8th of April, the Seminole County Board of County Commissioners approved our project. And now we're waiting for the architect to do the final plans so that we can apply for permitting. And then once that happens, we go and we start seeing where our budget's going to take us.
Right.
So that's where we are now, but we've gone through the hard part.
Right. And what's neat about it is, because you're doing this and keeping such great records, someone else out there can learn from you too. You can say, here's a plan.
Yes.
Here's some of the things to look out for if there's others that want to do that in their communities.
Yes.
You know?
And I said at the county commissioner meeting, I believe I can build a city now. I really do. Because again, we know what it takes to please the government, the local governing
Right.
councils and knowing that, again, no, you just can't go and start
Right.
fixing all that stuff. And then plus dealing with the grant,
Yes.
which is, you
Yes.
know.
But
I
the
mean,
grant is necessary. I mean, it's
yes,
helpful. So.
two entities you're dealing with. But
Right.
again, we're here, and now we're in a different, we're dealing with the contractor.
Mm-hmm.
Once the architect does the final plans, we're pretty much done with him unless there have to be some renovation,
Right.
I mean, some changes, which,
Right.
no, we're gonna stick with what we got.
Right.
And now it's architectural, and and then now, okay, we're pulling apart the building. Do we have some things that
Right.
we need to be replaced that we didn't count on? But one of the things that we thought we were gonna have to do are the pylons that the building sits on. The contractor was concerned about that because he thought we were gonna have to rebuild those. But
Right.
the engineer says that they're sturdy.
Good.
We shouldn't have to do anything with them.
Build it on rock, right?
Yes,
Right.
yes.
Well, as a final part, I would like to help advertise your Java with Judah. Can you tell me a little bit about how that started and how people can get plugged in with that if they want to come talk with you more?
Yes. When I was running for office, the young man who helped me said, "Oh, why don't you have Java with Judith? Because Java with Judith."
Mm-hmm.
And so at that point, I was having them. I mean, I don't know how I did it. I had them like 4 days a week, and I was going all over the city. I was hitting just wherever I felt. Like I even went out to Geneva to the little general store. I would have it out there. I went to Racetrack, which I loved, and then just any coffee shops. The main ones I'm using now, and you may be saying, "Why are you doing this?" Oh, well, I go out to the golf club on Wednesday and have coffee there, and then on Thursday I do Dunkin' Donut because they have a nice room there, and so normally I announce it on the my Facebook page. Judith Dolores Smith, something to think about. And again, there's a rationale behind it. Very few people have asked me, really, why are you doing this? Why do you continue to do it even though you're not running for office? And I'll give you a hint. I don't want to give it all away. I want people to come out and but when I started doing it, a dear friend who lived here, but she moved to Washington State to be with her children, because she was getting older and everything. And she saw me doing it. She said, "Judith, I know what you're doing. Keep it up. Don't be concerned about the number of people that come. Don't do that. Just keep doing it, Judith." And when she said that to me, there's no way I could stop because she knew why I was doing it. So I can't tell you exactly why. I can't tell you the secret. You have to come out to one of the coffees and see. But I do it and I continue to do it because she recognized what I was doing and she encouraged me. And she died about maybe 6 months ago, and so I can't stop. I can't let her down.
And it's in your heart.
Got to do it. And I've enjoyed it so much.
Yes. Well, the community is better for you doing it and continuing to do it. So thank you so much for being here today. Again, it was our pleasure to have you speak with us. It's April 16th, 2025, and we're speaking with Judith Dolores Smith. Thank you.
Thank you.